What's happening, guys? I thought I would check in with you, bring you up to speed on what's been going on in my world. So about three months ago or so, I started getting really sick. Persistent cough, respiratory thing, headaches, tired, all this good stuff. Typical respiratory thing just going around. Everybody was getting it. It was wiping everybody out. I got it, wiped me out a little bit. I came back. A week later, seemed to come down with it again. This just kept going. Eventually, long story short, about 2 weeks ago, discovered I have pneumonia. And it was pretty bad. But thankfully, I am blessed to have been born at the time and place I was born. And I go to the doctor and get some antibiotics, get a prescription, some prednisone, an inhaler, some cough syrup to help me sleep and deal with the coughing fits that were happening. And I'm on the road to recovery. Literally 2 hours after walking into the doctor's office, I'm on the road to recovery. But back in the day, pneumonia was one of the top 3 killers. And I was surprised to read that. I kind of went down a rabbit hole to figure, because I've never had pneumonia, never had anything like that before where I couldn't breathe, like walk across the room and I almost have to take a knee, out of energy. I'm still working, I'm still teaching classes, I'm still doing all these things and training people, and then simultaneously being wiped out. So, got through it, we're good. Now, talking about the everyday carry, a little bit of an update on that. Yes, still everyday carrying the Glock 17 in the same configuration as my training and practice pistols, which is stock service pistol for IDPA or production for USPSA. So iron sights, no mods, pretty much. The trigger's stock. I really don't do anything to these pistols. I just take them out of the box, dry fire the heck out of them, and that seems to smooth out any trigger issues. I do put different sights on them. These have the tag sights, tag industry sights. I put different sights on them, and that's about it. I don't do much of anything else with them. Just keep dry firing. I dry fire, I would say, on my training pistols, competition pistols, which are identical to this carry pistol, I dry fire probably an hour a day, give or take. So not too excessive, I don't think. And so probably 30, 40, 50,000 trigger presses and mag loads and that kind of stuff, and manipulations of the pistol throughout the course of a year. So yeah, it's going well. It's a Glock. What can I say? No malfunctions, no mishaps, nothing. It shoots to point of aim, it shoots to the sights. So that's always a plus. But I thought, after I posted that last video, there was some people that were like, that's not a carry gun, that's a duty gun, yada, yada, yada. Listen, I've been carrying a pistol in some form or other since 1993. So shortly after Hurricane Andrew is when I realized I probably should start carrying a pistol, have something on me. Then I got the job as a police officer in 97, 98. And it was drilled into my head at the police academy. Don't be one of those guys that is issued a Glock or a Smith & Wesson or whatever, and then they carry some sort of air weight, like a 640 or something off duty, never train with it, never work with it, and then they get into a situation and they realize they don't really know how to run this thing compared to their duty pistol, which they've been trained on and they have qualifications and proficiency shoots. So I never wanted to be that guy. So my thing, and this was also further emphasized by my trainers, like Ron Avery, DR Middlebrooks, guys like that, who were like, listen, train a lot, compete as much as you can, and also, but carry. That's part of it, is you want to be carrying a pistol. So it was always emphasized to me to figure out a way to carry the pistol. You're going to have to figure it out, how you dress, how you carry, all that good stuff. So I thought I would show you some of the pistols that I've carried over the years, and just as an example, like this is literally carry pistols. Like, I'm not making this up, and there are pictures on the internet. There's classes I've taught where people have seen me shoot these pistols, demo with these pistols, go to lunch, go to dinner, hang out with these pistols on me. So, although, yeah, if you want to carry something that's totally different than what you're going to compete with or what you carry for work, if you're an armed professional, if you want to carry something the rest of the time that's totally different, the manipulations are different, the controls, all that, that's on you, man. Like, it's not my job. It's going to be your fight, not mine. So for me, I want to carry a replica of my duty pistol. And now that I'm not an armed professional, I can carry whatever I want. I still choose to carry a larger pistol than most consider to be a concealed carry pistol, simply because it's easier to manipulate. You have to work so much harder to get the same results with a smaller pistol. I always think of it this way. If the Glock 26 or the SIG 365 or those little pistols were optimal, then you'd see guys in USPSA and IDPA running those pistols for everything, not just a bug match or not just some sort of side shoot. They'd be running those as their primary pistol, competing in limited production or open with those pistols. Like, you're not going to see that, because we all know you can't do the same kind of work with a little tiny pistol that you can do with a full-size pistol. So I would rather find a way to carry the full-size pistol so that if I need it and I have to do, like, it's the worst day of my life and I have to get into some sort of altercation with somebody that involves rounds going both ways, I want every advantage I can get. Every advantage I can get. And that even applies to red dot, all that stuff. Like, whatever you need to help you perform at the highest level, do it. All right? So, real quick, some of the pistols I've carried through the years. A lot of people know about these, the Berettas. I was known for carrying these for a long time. I was an advocate for the Berettas way back. If you guys were ever on Total Protection Interactive, the old forum, I wrote about Berettas on a regular basis. There are pictures of me in classes with various trainers that were posted on different blogs, and there's a couple things on YouTube with different trainers where I'm in class shooting their standards and participating in their class, and I am running a Beretta 92 or 92A1. And yeah, and I did not feel that it was too much gun, it was too much to conceal. I always got all my concealment gear from Raven. This is a Raven concealment holster. This is the Jake, and it allows me to carry this Glock 17 in board shorts, gi pants, jeans, dress pants, doesn't matter. I put my clothes on and I put my gun on, and that's how we go, right? But I also, for the years, I carried my Beretta in a Dark Star Gear holster, and no issues, zero problems. Concealing it, never an issue. I carried this. Now, this isn't really full size. This is a P30, so it's the size of like a Glock 19 if you need a reference for that. Again, larger pistol. It shoots like a bigger gun. And I carried this one in a JM Kydex holster, appendix in the waistband holster. Years, never an issue. A SIG 226. So carried a 226 and a 220. Again, a Dark Star Gear appendix in the waistband. Never had a problem. For several years, I also carried the M&P full size. This is the 4.5 inch barrel. So it's kind of like what's that new Glock with the 19 slide, but on the 17 frame, the 48, something like that. But anyway, that's kind of what this was, or is rather. It holds the magazines and all that stuff, but it's got the 4-inch or 4.5-inch. I think this is 4.4 1/4 inch. I'm sorry, barrel length. So this was also a duty gun. So if it was issued to me, I had to carry it on duty. Then I figured out how to make it work, and then I got a holster from Dark Star Gear, and I would carry it off duty. So same pistol at work, same pistol at home. I don't do the whole like, this is my work gun and then this is that, what did William April call it? The run out to get some milk gun, the gun that you just throw in your pocket, the little Kel-Tec or whatever. Time and place for that stuff, man. Not harshing on that and not saying I never did that. What I am saying is, for me and my purposes, I always carried off duty the same pistol that I carried on duty. I always picked the pistol that was optimal for me to run at the highest level I could possibly run it with my skill set at that time, and then I just figured out how to make it work. I figured out how to dress around it. I figured out how to get holsters and conceal and all that good stuff. Then I've also carried this, a 1911. This is a Springfield operator. I am a huge fan of all of the Springfield 1911s. So if you ever want to know what to get me for my birthday or for Christmas or any other holiday or any day that ends in a Y, get me one of these. Get me some sort of Springfield operator or one of their 1911s. I prefer the 45 because I've got tons of 45 mags. But yeah, same. I carried it. Appendix in the waistband. Never had an issue. Never was made. Never had anybody say anything to me. And you have to remember, I'm also concealed carry a pistol, a full-size pistol in Illinois, in the Chicago area. So I am well behind enemy lines. I am in full-on commie country, and where they will call the police on the police. There was an incident at a Portillo's where they called the police because some detectives were there with their badges, their shields, with police on their jackets, with a radio on the table. Like, clearly they're the police. And somebody called the police to report that there was men with guns in the restaurant, and it was very upsetting. So with that in mind, keep that in mind. I concealed these full-size pistols over a 25-year career in that part of the country and off duty, and never had an issue, never got made. So yeah, but back to the 1911, God's gun. This is absolutely my favorite pistol, bar none. I love 1911s. I could go on and on about them. I would much prefer to carry a 1911 at all times, and that will happen again. But for right now, the experiment is to carry, train, and compete with a Glock 17. Part of that too is just that everybody, all the police departments around here issue Glocks, and yeah, so there's a little bit of reasoning there too. And then the one that it grew on me, that I carried, and I still have it. I love this pistol in a lot of ways. The PDP, the Walther PDP. This is the PDP full size. It's the 4 1/4, I believe, barrel with a full size frame, 18 rounds plus 1 in the chamber. This is by far the best plastic pistol, trigger, ergonomic, everything. And I have to admit, when I first saw these pistols, I hated them. I thought they were, what is it, the High Point or whatever? I thought they were just like some garbage $200 pistol, jam-o-matic type thing. And then I got my hands on one through Mickey Shook at Carry Trainer. I was at one of the S12 events and I shot one of his, and I was like, holy cow, man, why have I been sleeping on these? Why have I been just wanting nothing to do with these things, thinking they were garbage? And yeah, pleasantly surprised, this thing runs. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a great pistol. It's also, the ergonomics are great. It's ambi, so you have the slide release on both sides. The mag release only on one side. Doesn't have the true ambi capabilities of the H&K, where you have the paddle mag release, and then you have the slide locks on both sides. So it's a true ambi gun. It's not quite like that to that level, but man, that is a solid piece of equipment. Anyway, my point was just to talk about carrying all of these guns for years, 30 years, maybe a little more than 30, in environments where I couldn't get made, in environments where I didn't want to get burned, have the police called on me, have an incident, in places that were highly anti-gun and definitely anti-Second Amendment and concealed carry. Like, definitely not, that's not something they like in that area. And so carrying a full-size gun is doable. I highly recommend it. I think that it is optimal, that everyone shoots better with a full-size pistol than they do with a subcompact version. And yeah, that's about all I know to say about it. That's where we are. I was sick, now I'm back, still carrying the Glock 17. That's it, man. That's all I got. So yeah, as much as possible, I always recommend that you carry a full-size pistol if you can. I get it if you can't. I absolutely get it. And also, one of the things that I don't do is I don't harsh on people for what they carry, even if I don't agree with what they're carrying. At the end of the day, your fight is going to be your fight. I'm not going to be there. Nobody else is going to be there. You're not going to be at my fight. You're going to have to solve the problem with the tools you have at hand. I try to carry what I think I will need to solve whatever problem I encounter. And I trust that everybody else has done the work and their due diligence, studied their area, studied crime, studied the statistics, all that good stuff, as well as their own performance with that pistol. And they have set themselves up as much as possible to have as much success as possible in the worst case scenario. That's all I got, man. I'll see you guys on the next one.